Hi, so I've been asked a little bit the last couple of days about doing some videos for low back pain, which is of course a very common thing, and one of the common contributing factors to low back pain is stress. So what I find myself doing in part of treatment with low back pain is reducing the what we call the sympathetic drive. So if you think about the fight flight response, and we're always like going at it and we're going to overcome this, and we kind of want to dampen that system down, because we can only really restore and recuperate and repair when we're in our parasympathetic nervous system. That's when we're relaxed, when we're not kind of going at it. So one of the anatomical areas that's really important in this process is on the rib heads at the back. And our ribs and our thoracic cage in general is really important as a system, as a pumping system, and to calm everything down, to increase the movement of the breath, to massage the gut, and really to allow the diaphragm to do its main role, which is to obviously assist breathing, but also to equalize the pressure gradient between the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. Okay, so that's why it's really important that we get this system breathing, the system moving. And when we're stressed, we tend to hold everything up here, and we get really tight in the top of our rib cage, and our breath becomes really shallow. We pull the breath up to here, shoulders hike up. So we particularly want to get away from that positioning. Okay, so although we're looking at low back stuff, and I am going to give you a couple of specific exercises, I also want to show you how to mobilize your own ribs, and this is something I've been working on the last couple of days. So we're going to do a couple of little mobilizations for the low back first, and these are safe to do even if you have disc problems, but what I would say is don't go to your end range of movement. Don't go into the pain. Don't push past pain. You really want to use your breath, go very, very slowly, and only encouraging your body to do a little bit more than it feels totally comfortable doing, okay? Because quite often we have really chronic back pain or very more significant problems, we tend to get a little bit scared and we rein in our movement, and you just want to give your body that positive message that it is made for movement. And in injury, our breath and our gentle mid-range movement is very, very important. Okay, so one of the key exercises that you often see people doing for low back pain is this, what's commonly called the cat-camel. Okay, now for me, the importance of this exercise is not about the movement that you're doing. It's about is where you put the movement. So if you think the low back is made to do that and the upper back is made to do that, then we want to put the movement in the opposite place. Okay, so with the upper back, we're going to go really try and drop the sternum to the floor, and you don't need much more than that. And when you're going up, you're going to tuck the tummy, the bum under, and you don't need much more than that. So I really want you to get this kind of very, very focused mid-range movement, and it really doesn't need more than that. And I'll be speaking in the next couple of days about using your pelvic floor muscles and your core muscles correctly, and that's one of the movements that really helps us to identify those muscles and drive that movement with those muscles rather than driving it through the pelvis and the back. Okay, so that's one exercise that you can do, and really focusing that movement. That's great. Just opening up the back. One of my other real favorites, and I'm just going to start dropping you down a little bit more here. So one of my other favorite movements, that's often not, I'm just going to bring my pillow forward. It's going to be more relevant in a minute. But if you let your knees drop out completely, the flats of your feet together, okay, and then lift your bum off the floor, and you can use your hand, like potato, the old game potato, underneath, or a wedge, or a cushion, and just putting it on your sacrum just to keep that lift if it's too much for you. But what this does is it really lets the deep hip flexors open out and pull into the diaphragm as well. So it comes all the way up through, uses that system, and it creates a little bit of stiffness in the glutes, so it locks out the pelvis and it keeps the back safe. So you get a little bit of low back extension with this, but you're really opening out the front, okay? So we want to, although the core is fantastically important in strengthening your back, the main thing initially is to come more into extension than doing all the flexion work. Yeah, we were talking the other day about everything being in flexion in your upper body, but quite often it is in our hips as well. And we get the sense of everything being really loose in here and quite compressed, and everything overstretched and open at the back. And that's one of the reasons that the ligaments and the discs get weak in the low back. Okay, they kind of dry out. So one of the other really important exercises for extending in the low back is hands on your side and coming up. And you just want a little bit of back extension here, and you don't want a huge amount, okay? And holding that position, okay? And if it's comfortable for you, come down into the child's pose, okay? So what I often suggest is you put a bolster or something underneath your bum, okay? And instead of just doing this straight, shimmy off to one side and stretch out the back and just feel the rib cage drop. So you come this way and you feel the rib cage drop. You feel the back of the ribs moving. Okay, so that's giving you the cat camel, but with a very defined movement. That's given you the frog lift.